Hope you had an amazing day today, and if you traded today, we're super successful. As always, I'm going to be going over the S&P 500 E-mini futures for today, Wednesday, May 21st. We go over my hypotheses, the trades I took, and I think one of the best trades I've seen, definitely the best trade of the week, and one of the best trades I've seen just in general happen today. So I'm excited to go over that with you guys as well. As a lot of you guys know, I'm traveling right now. I'm busy. I'm at a graduation, so I was only able to trade kind of the morning, late morning, and then I was in a car for a while, still monitoring trades, but didn't take any without being super locked in at my desk on my computer. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Before I do that, as always, huge shout out to Al Brooks, the master of price action. If you guys want to learn more about that from the best price action guy there is around, then I will have that course down below. And a huge shout out to Troy H, my sensei. If it wasn't for him, wouldn't be trading. I'm going to try to make it quick again. Like I said, I got a lot going on, so I don't have a ton of time. But as you guys know, purple line's high of yesterday, low of yesterday, and then this red line is the high from the Globex chart. I marked it red because a line of resistance, and the low is in green from the Globex chart as a line of support. So we started out with a four-leg micro channel up. And as I've told you guys a lot, I usually don't trade the first 30 minutes except for some very specific, unless if some very specific requirements are met, and they were met today. Start off with a great four-leg micro channel up. You have a micro gap, a tick gap. This is a very good, successful leg up over 16 points. This has a high probability of getting a second leg to at least test the EMA. So I got in on this. I thought 5 was kind of a pullback failure. Thought maybe it would just continue to go up, maybe catch a little bit of the first leg. I caught kind of the end of the first leg on this pullback here. Got in on the pullback. A little premature, but it was all right. I was very confident in this now having a fifth additional bar attached to this leg that I was definitely going to get a second push up. So I pulled back on 6, and I decided to enter in another contract here to buy, and I actually jumped up. 10 was a news bar. There was some interesting news that came up, so it jumped up, and I was actually up, I think 30 points, but it was a very quick jump, and I dragged my stop loss up to 10 points, and my stop loss got hit on 8 right there. So I probably could have made a good 15, 20 points, but I just wanted to play it safe. So I just took 10 on 8, and my stop loss dragged it up. So 10-point profit right off the bat within the first, 30 minutes of the day. So that was really nice to start off with. And the last time, if you guys watched that video, the last time I did that and made 10 points super early, I kind of trailed off the rest of the day. And I feel like today would have been a killer day. I'm bummed I missed the rest of it, or the later end afternoon of it, but I'm just gonna keep on going. I'll get into that once I see it. And then it kind of gets, kind of doji, just pushing down, kind of like having a micro channel, or not a micro channel, a trading range, just kind of nothing. So you get 1, pull back 2, kind of goes sideways a little bit down, kind of gets 3 pushes down, 1, pull back 2, pull back 3. So it really rejects the EMA. So it tries to get 2 pushes up, tries to test the EMA once, tries to test it again, fails. It usually tries to test at least 3 times before it breaks through. And you could even say that 12 tried to test it again, and then it kind of gave up. Even 15 tries to kind of reach the EMA and gives up. But I had the consensus in mind once this kind of got 2 pushes up and going sideways that I was going to really try to break through the EMA for the upper side. And that's exactly what happened on 18. 18 has a very strong close above the EMA. 16 isn't the best bar, and 17 isn't the best bar to start this leg with. But 17 does have a good micro gap. 16 has the tick gap at the end of it. So definitely good momentum indicators. And then 18 has a massive micro gap. But like I said, I wasn't really crazy about this start, definitely with these kind of bearish bars over here. But I was definitely felt like we were kind of bullish at this point in the market. And I thought it was probably going to try to make a push up to the Globex high, at least at some point in the day, just with how this had started off. So I waited for confirmation because 18 was good, but I really wanted to see it reject the EMA again and close above. And I got confirmation on 19. So I ended up seeing maybe there's going to be a little bit more of a pullback, and then it was going to go up. So it did do that a little bit on 20. I entered once the bar kind of pulled back to the EMA, not believing that it was going to break through after this is a 4 bar micro channel push up with 2 micro gaps and a tick gap. Very strong momentum indicator. kind of gets a pullback, I guess you could say, on 19 pullback failure, 20 rips up. So I made another 10 points there. So by the time that I was kind of heading out the door to get in the car to go see a tour of this campus, I was already up 20 points on the day. So I was very happy, even though I missed a monster trade to the right, as you guys can see. But after then, it kind of now sticks kind of above the EMA, tries to fight back, but it's just going completely sideways in the trading range, kind of the most sideways it could be all day. Sideways, trying to test the EMJ, trying to test the EMA. And you can kind of see, once again, market moves in threes, kind of tries to test it. You can see on 26, continuously tries to test it. Gets a good test on 35. Gets a good test on 36 that rejects. So you got to think maybe now the bears are starting to get momentum, maybe try to fill these micro gaps from before. And that's exactly what happened. So I was actually on text with my trading partner, and once 41, 42, and 40, and once 42 broke below the EMA, closed below the EMA with a massive micro gap, tick gap above, and then 43 closes as well. I had a strong belief. I was like, wow, this is going to get a second leg. And I was watching this pullback, and I said, it's trying to test the EMA, and it's going to fail to break through and sweep down. I actually have the texts to prove it, which is funny. And he entered in and made an absolute killing 20 bomb on this trade. But I wish I was behind my computer because, as you can see, I could have made about 70 points. But where I would have entered was it breaks through the EMA, confirmation 42, wait for one more confirmation, knowing it's not going to go above, tries to pull back, rejects it, closes again below the EMA on 43, which with a wick trying to go down more. And then 44, I would have entered on this pullback once it kind of touched the EMA. I would have thought that this is now 3 bars down, has a lot of downward momentum, breaking out of this sideways trading range. So this is a leg down that needs more potential, maybe trying to test the low of the day yesterday, or maybe even the Globex low. And as you can see, if I would have sold the pullback on 44, hypothetically, I probably would have sold at the Globex low because it usually tries to test. But still, would have been able to make 40 points on one trade. If I would have scalped in a couple, maybe I scalped it on 45, could have made 80, 100 points. Just a massive rip down that once you just see this free falling, kind of on these pullbacks to the EMA, once it rejects it, you could have even waited for the rejection here. Rejection on 44. Now you're positive that it's getting a second leg. You buy the close of 44, and it still, rips down. You could have made at least 50 points, even 60. So I thought that was one of the best trades I've seen in a very long time, at least volume-wise. You could have just, like I said, made an absolute killing on that. Very interesting. Wish I was behind my laptop, but you win some, you lose some. I still had a monster 20-point day, so I wasn't mad about it. So I monitored that, and then the rest of the day kind of goes a little bit sideways. You get some mixed pushes, but you're kind of in a trading range now, I think, after all that movement of it breaking through the Globex low, breaking through the prior day low. It's kind of just going into a trading range. So as you can see, kind of 49, it respects this limit a lot at 66, 67, and it's kind of going low. You can say there's some 3 pushes through here, 1, pull back 2, maybe pull back 3. But for the most part, just kind of going sideways in the trading range. The only other trade that I saw that was really interesting is kind of get the sideways movement, resets legs, and you finally get a good movement down. Tick gap, you get 64 ripping down with a big micro gap. And this leg alone is already 13 points at its max, which is crazy. And then it gets 2 more follow through bars. 65 closes near its high, which is a very good indicator of lots of momentum going down. 66 a little doji. And then 67 really tries to pull back into that 30, 33%, maybe even 50% range using Fibonacci, and it just completely fails. So this would be confirmation of pullback failure here. I would have sold the close of this bar, and as you can see, you would have just actually made a killing 15-point rip down. So this kind of through here kind of resets the leg count with all this kind of doji sideways action, and then you get one leg here, 64 through 66. Confirmation pullback failure on 67, second leg down on 68, and then you even get a third leg pull back on 69 and another third leg down. You could have even been a little bit more risky, hopped in here, and at its peak would have made 17 points, which is pretty crazy. And then near the end of the day, um, you could definitely make an argument. It's kind of getting to the point where it's the last 30 minutes of the day, so it's lots of volatile. You don't really want to trade this time, but you could definitely make an argument that, you know, 63, 64, 65 is a great reversal push up, having some good bars over 23 points. Well, the big indicator here for me and why I wouldn't have taken this trade is it tries to push through EMA and fails, tries to push through on 67 and fails again. Um, and then once you see 67, it's kind of a give up bar, and this isn't going to push through the EMA again. The bears have won. You gotta look at what's the market been doing. You don't want to trade against the regime. You get a huge bear push here. You get a trading range that's going sideways, but it's going down and sideways, and then you get another two pushes here, or actually three pushes here on 64. One pull back, two pull back, three. So do you really want to take this trade that couldn't even get above the EMA against the whole entire market regime? I know that I wouldn't have, but maybe you think differently. But yeah, but that was my quick little breakdown. Like I said, good discipline. I had really good. Yeah, I just had really good discipline today. Not trading off my phone. Sometimes I can get into some trouble trying to trade off my phone. I kind of have a rule of mine to, if I'm not behind a desk and really locked in, looking through my rules and actually doing the probabilities, that I just decide not to trade. So yeah, I missed out on this, 40 plus point bomb. But earlier in the day, I had really good risk management. Got a scale in a couple times on this first leg up, make 10 points, and then made another 10 here. So overall, really good price action day. Lots of fun stuff you guys could see. Pretty clear legs too. I feel like this is a good day to learn from. Um, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, Albrecht's course will be down below. Shout out Troy H. Shout out to my trading partner James. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.